Artists, creatives, and designers, welcome to Dream Aloud Art, the podcast where creatives are educated on seeing value in themselves and their creations. Presented to you by RTA, respecttheartist.com. I'm your host, fellow creative and friend, Electra B. Frederick. Let's go. Okay, so if you tapped this episode, like you've tapped it on podcasts, on the podcast platform that you're on, one of the 8,000 platforms. If you tapped on this, something tells me that you've either been down this road before about seeking validation, seeking approval, or you're just wondering why on earth are creatives working so hard to get a check mark from somebody else, and in this case, as I've highlighted, complete strangers. Artists are desperately seeking approval and validation and attention from complete strangers. And I say it like that because it's so it can sound a little bit out there, like why on earth would we work so hard to get a green check from someone that we don't even know? They're remaining an internet mystery. Why? Why is that? And is it really approval that the artist is seeking? Or is it something else? Come on now. Woo! Come on. What are they really seeking? Y'all know how I do. Some of y'all know how I do. We go deep here, okay? We really look at things. And the reason why I'm making this a topic is because too often artists are looking for a quick fix. And I got news for you. The answers are actually very easy, okay? The fix, as far as the verbal solution, like I could tell you what you have to do, right? Or I could be told what I have to do, okay? And I say that because we're human. So I never want to speak from a place where it sounds like I have all the answers and there's no room for improvement for me. There's always room for improvement for me. There's always room for improvement for any artist if they're willing to be open. If they're willing to be open and grow, then there will always be room for improvement, period. Okay. So anyway, I've been down this road before, okay, as far as creating work solely for the attention, say the main purpose is because it pays good and there's not really there's not a deeper sense of purpose. That's what it really boils down to. For me, y'all know, I'm all about purpose. I'm all about walking in your highest purpose. And with respect to understanding that purpose does not necessarily mean one single thing, like one ultimate thing that you're supposed to be doing, because as a human being, we're very dynamic and we can engage in several things in which we have strengths in. It could be something as simple as being, if for my men who are listening, it could be something as simple as being a husband, being a good father, also, being that entrepreneur and leading the family and, that's several things, it's several things that make up one of the greatest, I'm trying to figure out how to say this, right? It's several things that are like building blocks for an ultimate purpose. Okay. And so if you'll imagine, a building is made up of a lot of different bricks, right? But all of these bricks together, working together, create the building. Okay. So if any of those bricks were not there, the building would not be possible. Like, it would not be held together, if that makes sense. And I hope that it's clicking for you. Okay. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a purpose and your purpose is one brick over here. No, it could be a series of things that you are to combine your talents and God-given gifts. You're supposed to combine those things and actually make use of them. Okay. So that's what I believe in, most definitely. And I feel like most of my listeners, most of my supporters on my platforms, I feel like most of them understand the concept of a greater purpose and not simply doing something solely because it pays good or solely because it just pays, period. Now, we all go through a stage, or we're going through a stage, chapter in our life where, yeah, that's what you currently have to do. You've got to work, you've got to make money, you have to make certain ends meet. And so this is part of your particular process. And along the way, you're picking up skills and honing in on skills and certain gifts that you have, because what is that I just mentioned, right? They're building blocks. They're building blocks. And I can use myself as an example. I got certified as an instructor while I was working in the corporate world. And I still carry that certification today. But this time I use it more so in the capacity of working with artists, creators, and designers, right? Okay. So that's just a little bit of an intro. I wanted to give you a warm up before we dive in a little bit deeper. So I mentioned, and I've mentioned this before, I used to have an Instagram page. I still have the page. I just don't do anything with it, right? I used to have an Instagram page years ago where I would highlight my graphic illustrations, and I would create graphic illustrations of different musicians, celebrities, whether they were a singer, a rapper, an actor, comedians, models, anyone who got a lot of attention online, specifically Instagram. And Twitter. Twitter was used to, I don't know, is it still a thing? I don't know. But anyway, years ago, it was like on fire. Like, Twitter was like on fire. And it was a lot more simple than it is now. But anyway, I would focus on those public figures who got a lot of attention, and I would focus on their tribes and their fans and their groups of fans and their fan pages and things like that. So I would build up my own fan base by utilizing their fan base. Now, if you believe that creating celebrity drawings, illustrations, if you feel that's part of a greater calling for you, then listen close, because I'm giving you some pro tips, okay? But I know that's not, like, that was at a different time in my life, and I'm not interested in applying any of that right now. So maybe this is for you. So if it is for you, listen up, whip out a pencil and pen, take some notes on a piece of paper. I'm an advocate for actually writing things down. Anyway, so I would build my fan base utilizing their fan base, and then I would create, amazing work. And anything that I created, their fans were right on board, and they're like, yo, this is amazing. I love this work. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I saw a particular recipe for success by doing this, and I would simply copy paste this method. What did I say, right? Build a fan base using someone else's fan base, constantly showing the artwork to the fan base, and then the fan base by default would share the artwork and it would quickly get in the hands of the celebrity. It would quickly be seen by the celebrity. It would quickly be shouted out by the celebrity. Why? Because they've seen that their fans already love it. And of course, the artwork is of that celebrity. So why not just go ahead and repost it, right? So anyway, I loved that. I loved the viral hits, and it was it and we're going to dive into some points here, right? But it meant something to me. Now, why does it mean something to artists? Like, why are they so concerned with getting popular, maybe even more than actually making money from what they're creating? Money is necessary, right? In this world that we live in, money is necessary for certain things. We're not going to say all these artists out here that are talking about, oh, money doesn't mean anything to me. What? Like, I'm sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. What? Can you say that in my good ear, please? How can money mean absolutely nothing to you? Like, excuse me, tell that to the person who is struggling and is not able to pay any kind of bills. Tell that to someone who is, struggling out here. Tell them that no, money is necessary, okay, for more than your selfish desires, all right? But it's necessary. It does not mean you place that as a priority or as the leading reason why you do something. Okay, that's completely different. So it's wonderful to be able to lead with your passion, lead with purpose, but by no means should you just be giving it away for free. Like, I'm sorry, by no means as the leading thing that you're doing. If you decide to do work for free for, promotional purposes, be intentional and be present when you're making that decision. Okay. Which can also be connected to wanting to be liked and seeking approval. And that's a whole nother conversation about free art. Y'all know I got to talk about that. No, I have to. I got to talk about it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and dive into, because I just shared the story about the high, the hit, whatever you want to call it, but it was a boost. I think that's probably a better word. It was a boost for me whenever I got those reposts, whenever I got those, people tagging and mentioning me, and I got a lot of them. I got them by the hundreds, and that was some next level mentality stuff there. Like, my mind was blown. I'm like, oh, this is just great. I need more of this. And before any of y'all start judging me, don't, because I know you've either been there before or you will experience this. Okay. More than likely you will experience what it is. It's a test. I feel like it's a test of humbleness. It's a test to see if you can maintain emotional, mental, physical, spiritual balance. Whether you're getting attention or not, can you maintain the balance in your well-being? Y'all know I'm rolling my eyes over here. That's right. Y'all know listen. Ooh, can you maintain that? Can you maintain a sense of peace and balance no matter what the highs are looking like, no matter what the lows are looking like, is your spirit at peace with what you do and who you are? Come on, somebody. Oh, got me hollering. I'm telling you. Okay, so I want to go ahead and share three things that attribute to why an artist is seeking that approval, attention, validation, etc. Okay. So the first reason that the artist is doing this, seeking the approval, is a performance and reward system. Okay. They're used to a performance and reward system. Okay. So the more you perform this is what the external world is saying, or what your experience has been throughout your life. The more you perform to our standard, what I say, that's the external, right? The more you perform to our standard, the more you are rewarded. And so they stick to this idea because that's all they know, instead of already knowing that they are valuable, and that knowing can be felt and it cannot be measured. Okay, I'm going to say that again. That knowing that the artist has, knowing their true value, that's something that cannot be physically measured. Like our five senses cannot measure your sense of self, or your knowing of your own self-worth. That can't be on a scale. It can't be measured. It can only be sensed or felt. And so the reason why the artist is so locked in on the idea of wanting that external validation, approval, acceptance, they just want to be liked, one of the reasons is because of this performance and reward system, where they want to perform in some kind of way where the external world says, good job, bravo, we like it, or we don't like it. And if the external world doesn't like it, then they want to change their tune. That, like, they want to pivot, with the leading reason being that the external world didn't give it the green check. They didn't approve of it. Okay? Yeah. That's an actual thing. And some of y'all know it's a thing too. Don't act like you don't. Don't act. I see you. I see you over there acting like it ain't a thing. No, it is. And you know it is. You know it's a thing. The next reason I have, right, as one of the reasons why an artist tends to do these things to get approval or to just be liked, is that the artist begins to rely on the performance and reward system that I just talked about, right? They begin to rely on that system as a measure of self-worth, and they attach themselves to the idea, and they find it hard to believe that their own idea of self-worth capitalizes all other perspectives. Okay? So the first reason I mentioned is because of this system, right? Performance and the reward system. They do a good thing, the external world says good job, and then they're kind of living that space. That's all through grade school. That's all through their jobs, their careers. It's a performance. Like, how did you do, and where does that fit in our standard? Okay, that was the first reason. The second reason that I've noted is because they find it hard to believe that their idea of self-worth actually capitalizes all other external opinions, perspectives. That doesn't quite click. So they don't believe in that. They may not have seen examples or even had the discussions with anyone about something like that. Like, what do you mean I have to know my own worth, and I have to know my own worth. I have to have my own sense of self-respect. And then my external world will change. My view, let me say that, my view or how I respond, how I react to the external world will change because I have my own knowing of my own self-worth. Like, they'll give you like a little side eye, like, excuse me, I'm sorry, what? Like, is that actually a thing? Yes, it's a thing. It's a thing that you should hold on to every day. You should hold on to the fact that you are valuable and worthy. I am not cheering on someone being conceited. I am not cheering on arrogance. I am not cheering that on at all. I'm cheering on having a healthy sense of self-worth and confidence in yourself. A healthy sense. Healthy. But if that hasn't been a discussion in the artist's life, then how in the world can they implement that? So the second reason is that they have yet to believe in something like that, and having a good, healthy sense of confidence and understanding that that is the foundation of their life, is how they see themselves, how they view themselves, and leading with that. So I'll give you a quick example, right? In case some of y'all are bamboozled by what I'm speaking about here. Okay. My name is Electra. Okay. If I walk into a room and there's about, let's say 10 people there, and I've introduced myself to each person, and every time I introduced myself to someone and I told them that my name is Electra, they looked at me like I was, like, what? Like, what kind of name is Electra? All 10 of the people in the room disapproved of my name. This is not a real story. Let me remind you, I'm using it as an example. But if it was a real story, what difference would it make? Because I know who I am. So the point I'm leading to is that those 10 people may not love my name. They may not embrace my name. But does that mean that it's no longer my name because they don't like my name? You see, I know who I am. And so I encourage you to have that cap on. You know who you are. Just because somebody may not like certain things about you, and I'm not talking about things that you need to look at, because some of y'all love to use that as a little, as a little scapegoat, like, I know who I am, and you're talking about, you're acting like certain aspects of yourself that are not favorable or beneficial are parts of who you are. No, don't play yourself. I know some of y'all are. I know y'all like to do that kind of stuff. Y'all like to dupe and trick yourself and play these mental games with yourself. Stop it. Okay. You know the aspects of yourself that you need to look at and you need to address, as opposed to aspects of yourself that are really the truest, highest, healthiest parts of you that come from a place of love. And I don't mean romantic love. I'm talking about a healthy sense of love and respect for yourself and your existence. Okay. But going back to knowing who you are, just because someone else doesn't like certain aspects of yourself, the aspects, as I mentioned, the aspects of yourself that are healthy, okay? Healthy, loving, respectful, right? Confident. That doesn't mean, just like I said, just because somebody else doesn't like it, it does not mean that it's not true. The example I gave of all like 10 people in the room that don't like my name, that doesn't mean just because 10 people don't like it, it became a popular, common thing that 10 people do not care for my name in this example. That doesn't mean that I am not Electra. You see what I'm saying? But if your foundation is weak, you might actually say, you know what? These 10 people don't like my name. I think I'll come up with a nickname, so it's easier forget that. No, we're not coming up with no nickname. This is going to be your name and they're going to love it. And if they don't love it, oh well, find you a tribe who does love it. Come on, somebody. I'm snapping. Come on, somebody. And the third reason that I've noted is that the artist believes that what gets attention in numbers must be true, correct, or worth believing. The artist believes that what gets attention in numbers must be true, must be correct, or must be worth believing in. If it's popular, it's true. If it's trending, it's correct. If it makes money, it must be worth entertaining. The artist who knows themselves, their highest self, their spiritual self, the real them, their true essence, the artist who knows themselves in this way could care less about what's trending in order to determine whether what they're doing is worth doing, whether what they're creating is worth doing. That don't mean nothing to them. That means nothing. I'm pausing. Don't worry. You didn't lose the podcast. I'm pausing. I am encouraging you to really look at that. This is why when I am teaching artists, or when I've, been at speaking engagements and I've been, giving courses and trainings, this is why I tell artists, you may need to re-examine your current medium. For some reason, you're good at whatever you're doing. That's another illusion there. Just because you're, air quotes, good at something, that does not mean that is your greatest strength. That does not mean that the buck stops there for you. Because I've been there before. I'm not talking to y'all about something that just sounds good to talk about. This is a real thing. I've experienced this, and I've worked with artists who experience this too. Just because you're doing something that gets a lot of attention, you're doing something that you're so good at, that does not necessarily mean that that's it for you. And the reason why you haven't quite found fulfillment in that medium is because one of the reasons is because you're holding on to this idea that I'm getting paid doing this. People like it. People like me. How can they like you when you're not even showing your true self? Oh my gosh, that just flowed out of my mouth. Oh my God. Excuse me. How can they like you when you haven't even shown the real you? Somebody in the back just hollered. I heard them. Someone in the back just hollered. Explain that to me. I'm going to say it again. How can they like you when you haven't even shown the real you? They like your representative. They like the one who they're seeing right now, who's tap dancing with the top hat and the cane, the one who's performing. But how can they like the real you if you haven't even shown the real you? Y'all done got me started. I need a glass of water. Okay, so in conclusion, because you may be wondering with all this approval seeking and validation and wanting people to like you and wanting people to like your this and like your that, like your photos, like your videos, like your reels, like everything, please. And if you notice, about near everything that you see in virtual world has the option for you to like it. I mean, it could be a story post. It could be a post, it could be a video, it could be a comment, like everything. Please. Like there's all of these elements that are just screaming for your thumbs up. It's screaming for your heart, your like, your reaction. Oh gosh, it's so, if you entertain all of these things, it could be so overwhelming. And I'm not an advocate for that. I'm an advocate for you being who you really are supposed to be, recognizing the highest version of yourself. Come on now. So with all this being said, what exactly is the artist really seeking here? If it's not the external approval of a complete stranger or groups of strangers, internet strangers, right? If it's not their approval they're seeking ultimately, what exactly is the artist seeking? So I'll share with you my perspective of what the artist is actually seeking. Artists are seeking self-acceptance. They're seeking their own confidence. They're seeking truth, which is all within. They're seeking peace. They're seeking certainty, self-worth, and knowing their value. And all of those things that I just listed, right? They're seeking self-acceptance. They're seeking their own confidence, truth, peace, certainty, their own self-worth, knowing their all of those things, knowing your value. All of those things, number one, are internal. It comes from within. All of those things cannot be measured. Our five senses have no way of measuring those things. And so the seeking outside of themselves is a desire to co-sign the idea of seeking but never finding. Seeking and hoping to find outside of yourself. Until you, my dear artist, until you not only embrace, but live the life every single day of knowing just how valuable you are, just how much of a unique stamp that only you can place in this life. When you really understand that, that will change the entire trajectory of your life. You got the power. How many of y'all, come on now, some of y'all know I say this. You know how much power you got in you? I don't even think you know. I don't even think you have any idea of how much power you have in you. And it scares you, it terrifies you only because you don't know. You don't know how much power you have in you. But I will encourage you to begin having the desire to know, which is a wonderful place to start. So, y'all, listen. Y'all done got me started, and I absolutely love it. I live for this. This is what I do. This is part of my greatest and highest calling, and that is to give y'all the truth and to give you the business of what is true. The truth is that you are highly valuable. The truth is that your confidence is you have to have that thing. That has to be the strongest part of your foundation. Because every single thing that you do, every way that you live your life has to come from that confidence of knowing who you are, of knowing what you deserve, of knowing that you have to have respect for yourself and the other. So with that being said, y'all, once again, make sure you check in the description if you want me to work it out. Work it out for your team of artists. And if your artist tribe needs that training, you need that encouragement, check the description. And I have a link there for Respect the Artist. Y'all already know how I roll. I am RTA all day, every day, as you are, because you are listening to this podcast. But if you would love to have me come on out, because I would love to come out and encourage and support and empower your tribe of artists, check out the link that's in the descriptions of all the platforms, all these podcast platforms that we have, whether that's Apple Podcasts or if it's Spotify, or a number of these. Y'all know we're immersing into the podcast world. But make sure you check that link out. Send us a message. If you and your artist tribe need that encouragement, you need that empowerment, you need that support, because this is part of our greatest calling. It's to uplift and shift the energy for the creatives, y'all. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Listen, RTA stands for, you already know, RTA stands for Respect the Artist. Peace, y'all. And enjoy, share this particular episode. High vibes to you. I appreciate everything that y'all are sending in. I'm getting your emails. I am absolutely loving your support. Thank you so much. This is what I do, and anything else that grows from the seeds that are being planted out here, it is such a blessing. It really is. It's a blessing and an honor. So it's your girl Electra. Peace from here to the Far East. I love y'all, and I will catch y'all on the next episode. Love you. Artists, creatives, and designers, it has been an honor and a pleasure to spend this time with you. I'm grateful for your encouragement, love, respect, and support. Follow this podcast and share this episode with another creative who needs to hear it. Your positive ratings and reviews are highly appreciated. Screen capture this episode, post it, and tag me on Instagram at DreamAloudArt so I can show the love in return. For more information on having an artist consultation with me, or for being on the YouTube show for artist interviews, check the description on this episode or go to respecttheartist.com. That's RespecttheArtists.com. Much love to y'all. And remember, RTA stands for Respect the Artists. I'll catch y'all on the next episode. Peace from here to the Far East.